Hey everyone, I'm Mark Wahlberg. I am so excited to share with you the trailer for my new movie, Father Stu. I found his story to be so inspiring that I knew I had to find a way to bring it to the big screen. Here's the trailer to Father Stu.
Well, we'll include the trailer as an end screen because don't think we'll get a copyright strike, but yeah, never know. We're the Ministry of the Real Truth, and we found this movie really inspiring, eye-opening. It has a lot of swearing in it, so Christians out there might not like that. But if you put up with it, it's actually he's very blunt, straight to the point. This is pull no punches. This guy's a boxer, right? Second-ranked middleweight champion, and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, he liked to argue, from what we've read, and yeah, we thought it was a great, inspiring movie because it opened up our eyes to. When we used to be in a local church, we thought, well, there's something wrong with this Christianity. It just doesn't feel right, you know. Maybe the pastor or the preacher was using trigger words to get you all emotional or something, or to put the fears up you, like, oh, if you don't come to the altar and give your life to Christ, then you're going to burn in hell, all this sort of stuff. Like one week he said, some young guy that was there, he was off the church, he left, some girl rode his motorcycle, had an accident, they both died or whatever, and now he's burning in hell. The next week he changes the story, right? Yeah, and then you get the emotional piano music and all this stuff, and people were sobbing or whatever. So he thought, people just says, oh, don't worry about it, it's just they're being moved by the Holy Spirit. Oh, okay, whatever, because we're just like, you know, new into that church or seeing all this going on. Another one we saw people running around like clucking like chickens and stuff, you know, real weird stuff. But yeah, we just felt there's something wrong with it. And then the guy that we befriended, or a friend from a former job, used to come over and pick us up and talk about God, but he'd keep jumping. He'd say, oh, Jesus said, God said, God said. He'd jump, you know, 10 chapters or 10 books or something. He was still trying to figure out in our head what did he actually say, right? Yeah, mulling it through our head. And then we'd go, okay, so we'd try to get on to the next bit that he said, he jumped to, right? And then he'd be jumping to something else and jumping to something else. Like, you know, come on, man, I'm still trying to process the first bit, you know? And then he would come up with any trick in the book to get you to that church. Like he'd say, oh, yeah, I'll show you some takeaways or something. He'll hop in the car, go up the road, get some, end up in the church. Or, yeah, oh, you know about that. I heard about that. My friend, he's Jewish, he just came back from Israel, and he knows all that stuff, so we'll go see him, eh? And jump in the car and end up in the church. And tricks like that. Or, we suggest you go watch this movie, you know, and all this sort of stuff. But turn up, you know, Christmas Eve or something, you know, with a box of chocolates and think that's the way to get in to try and talk God to you and all this sort of stuff. So after a while, we broke away from these local churches, denominations, etc. And that's why when we came across the original, ancient, very old Galilean Aramaic, the Tower of Ashtoreth, etc., of the Old Testament, Victor N. Alexander, etc. That's why we dropped everything, because we had no more confusions, yeah, and we're stuck with it ever since. Yeah, so watch this movie, we recommend it, but if you don't like swearing or whatever, then you can play a few roadblocks or whatever they're called, roadblocks, or Fortnite or something. But yeah, it's hard hitting. It's like a boxer, you know, it's like hard hitting, you know, no punches pulled, all of that sort of stuff. This guy was a second ranked, a ranked number 2 middleweight champion, and wherever he was from. Yeah, so I recommend it. You really enjoy it. You can probably see it on 123 movies or something like that, you know. There's probably a link underneath where you can go see it for free, but you probably have to sign up as a member or something like that. Usual trick, right? Well, this is Sony Entertainment, isn't it? Yeah, again, we recommend it, and if you like this little video, short video, then subscribe to us, give us a like, and then share it with all your family, friends, neighbours, etc. So we did a little info check on this guy, the Reverend Father Stuart Long. Stuart Ignatius Long, an American boxer and Catholic priest. Early life and education. He was born in Seattle, July 26, 1963. His younger brother died of meningococcus at age 4. And his sister Amy, he's got his sister Amy, graduated from Capital High School in Helena in 1981, where he played football and wrestled. Attended Carroll College, etc., etc. And he converted and became a priest after a near-death motorcycle accident in 1992. A car struck him and then another ran over him. He had brain swelling, was not expected to survive but recovered. In order to marry his Roman Catholic girlfriend, Long agreed to getting himself baptised as a Roman Catholic and was baptised at the Easter Vigil in 1994. However, Long felt a call to the priesthood at this time. He decided to forego the marriage. To test himself and learning that priesthood was indeed his true calling, Long taught for 3 years at Bishop Alemany High School, etc. Because he was like, oh, I want to be an actor and all this sort of stuff, and his mother on the film was like, geez, you know. He did some small advertising, adverts and all that sort of stuff. He never really hit it big, for what we've done. But yeah, it's basically quite a lot of detail in that movie, and then you got Mel Gibson in it as a drunk father, you know. He used to knock him around, all that sort of stuff. Well, it's directed by him, apparently. Maybe him and Wahlberg, you know. Well, Wahlberg, apparently, Mark Wahlberg was somewhere he was speaking to this Catholic priest that actually knew him, and he thought, wow, what an exciting story, you know. We should make that a movie, and so forth. Okay, and here we found a website which says, meet Father Stu, the true story and real priest behind Mark Wahlberg's new movie. And he said he kept hearing the same message over and over again: there is power and suffering, move him forward. Back in 2007, Bishop George Thomas of Helena wasn't sure whether to ordain Stuart Long to the priesthood. He's played by Malcolm McDowell. He's a bit of a crazy actor, you know. What was he on? Clockwork Orange. What was he on? Bob Guccione's. What was it? Caligula. Yeah, he's a good actor. Okay, so yeah, back in 2007, Bishop George Thomas of Helena wasn't sure whether to ordain Stuart Long to the priesthood. Seminary formatters have raised red flags about Stu, who had an aggressive and debilitating muscle disorder with a poor prognosis. Yeah, he got smacked in the jaw in a boxing match, and he had some problems there. And then he's basically walking around playing basketball or something, and he can't get up. And he ended up with this chronic illness. Okay. And it just kept happening to him, right? A fundamental idea in Catholicism: Christ redeemed us through his suffering and death on the cross. In a mysterious way, our suffering united to his can be redemptive. That's what Bishop Thomas remembered in prayer. Ultimately, the Bishop told the pillar, this is this website, it was because of Stu's sufferings and not despite them that he decided to ordain Stuart Long as priest. Bishop Thomas said God kept reminding him over and over that a priest is ordained to be like Christ, the suffering servant who hung on a cross. And so forth. He was into Bigfoot. He's a football player turned wrestler turned boxer who had serious aspirations of turning pro. He had a muscular build and a sharp intellect, and he treated arguing like a competitive sport. Stu was an outgoing guy with a great sense of humour, the kind of guy that people like to be around. They loved him. People who knew him loved him, remember him, even as his body shut down. Stu was every bit as tough as he was in his prime. He loved to argue with people. It's a pretty good movie. These parents. The father was played by Mel Gibson. But yeah, it's a brilliant movie. Really liked it. And then you see Mark Wahlberg, you know, he's super muscly and stuff like this, all that sort of stuff. He was when he was in that band that he was in, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch or something. He's pretty solid, right? But in this one, he's really, really muscly and stuff. and he goes really, really fat because this illness this guy got. But yeah, you really like it. We really enjoyed it, so we recommend it. Just put up with the swearing. You know, it's because he was straight up. You know, he was on the road to self-destruction, and then he went into priesthood at the same time. So yeah, he had difficulty walking and stuff. You see Mark Wahlberg putting on the weight, and oh, it's brilliant movie. And that guy was brilliant. Family and friends were shocked by Stu's diagnosis. Their friend Stu was so strong he seemed almost invincible. You couldn't almost believe it. His friend Friar Bart said he remembers seeing the change in Stu after he was ordained a transitional deacon in December 2006. Stu tried to be hopeful at first. He could look into experimental treatments. He thought that maybe if he could slow it down, some kind of cure would be developed someday, because he had a rare disease, right? But as time went on, it was hard to remain optimistic. He was fairly despondent on a couple of different occasions, his dad recalled, but there was another change in Stu after his diagnosis too, Friar Bart said. It was like someone had flipped the switch and given Stu a whole new kind of determination, especially to live the faith. After he was diagnosed, Stu lived with a kind of urgency. Friar Bart remembered he seemed to realise his time was short and every moment mattered. Yeah, there's a scene where he goes to the jail and they give the prisoners give his friend crap, but he just comes straight out and says, you know, God don't give up on you and all this sort of stuff. You can't really shut him off with this sort of stuff. Yeah, it's really, really inspiring. So we say go and watch the movie. Read this article. We'll leave the link, the website link underneath. It's quite an extensive article on it with real life photos. He had been in. Stu was also known as good confessor, Friar Ed said. He had been there and done that. He knew the ins and outs of the realm of sin. He had a lot of compassion and mercy and understanding and forgiveness in his heart. He wasn't a legalist. He was the mind and heart of Jesus, and he was a welcoming presence. That was his strength. When you were Stu as a priest, you knew you were there with somebody who accepted you, and that is a huge gift to people. He fell on the steps a few times, but he just got up. He wasn't too bothered by it. Played. Even in assisted living, Stu kept a sense of humour. He and another of the younger patients at Big Sky Care, we went for treatment facility, were known to have wheelchairs, races, and play bumper cars in the hallway. Yeah, I'm not too sure if he actually married that woman in the movie. They might have allowed it. Not really sure. He says he couldn't marry her because he was a priest, right? And that's a no-no. Yeah, so you should just go watch it, Father Stu. You might enjoy it. We think you'll really enjoy it. Okay, so we are the Ministry of the Real Truth. If you like this little video, then give us a like, subscribe to our channel, add your comments, and then share it with your friends.